Hello and welcome everyone. So today we are going to continue the chapter Dr. Maria Montessori Life History and Genesis of the method. Like which method? Montessori method. Okay. So in our previous session, we have understood who was Dr. Maria Montessori, how did she came into the line or the practicality of education. Okay. She completed a journey from Rome University. We have understood that. And then she was a doctor. And then slowly and gradually, she completed all her medical degrees. Then she involved herself in research and she became a scientist. Okay. Now, today we will be understanding how did she started the sensorial pedagogy. The genesis of sensorial pedagogy means how the sensorial pedagogy started. Genesis means genes. See, whenever a child is born, what is the first part which is there into the child? That is the DNA, which involves the genes, right? So whenever we talk about any genesis means something which is starting. Okay. So how does the sensorial pedagogy started? Okay. So we can understand that the lady, Dr. Maria Montessori, she was performing researches, and in the research, her clinical duties brought her directly towards the child's behavior. Okay? The children intellectually being disabled and fundamentally unteachable. Okay? Like disabled children who need something which is special. So, analyzing the living conditions and the critical observations, Dr. Maria Montessori focused on the visual stimulation and hypothesized the developmental stagnation. Okay, how we can say developmental stagnation? Like the stagnant means what? Stopped, or where something is stopped at a while. Like when we talk about a stagnant water, that water is uh, stopped. The water does not make any motion or it's not in any movement, right? That is stagnation. So developmental stagnation means what? When the development has stopped for a while. It has not, like, it is not ended, but it has stopped for a while. Okay. So when the development stops for a time period, the age is moving at the same pace. The days are coming and going. The age of so and so child is running through, but the development has stopped. She has seen that in her researches, she hypothesized means what? In her researches, she worked upon the sensory deprivation of different mental deficient children. Okay. Then, as she was a general physician, she connected with different physical materials to stimulate the development. Okay. So, she focused on the touch. She focused on the sorting things. She focuses on the focused on the manipulation of different activities. It may involve shapes. It may involve textures. It may involve sizes. Okay. So this was implemented for the special children. Then slowly and gradually, she implemented the same thing with the children of Italian public schools. The standard Italian public schooling enjoyed that part. She break down and demonstrated the traditional schooling method profoundly, that if we are focusing on this type to every child, the child's development will not stop. Like when the development stops, at that time it's working. But what is the main point? The initial stage. The initial stage means if we are doing it from a normal level, the development of the child will not stop only. The child will not come under special category cognitively. Rather, if the child is having physical disability related to nature, like if it is natural, something which is natural, then it cannot be sorted, but something which can be changed with an environment. So that thing to every child, if we can give it at the very lowest age, then the development will not cease. It will not stop. So what did she did? She started a school, a small, we can say a school, or we can also say a small play area, or we can say a small house type project. Okay, it was a project. It was she was doing research on this, right? So like it was her research project. She prepared one house, and the name of that house was the children house. She arranged many different equipments to teach them. She prepared the pink tar, she prepared the brown stairs and different types, whatever material she prepared. Okay. The house was named in the Italian language Casa di Bambini. Casa di Bambini. Okay? It means that the children house. 6th January 1907, it started. Then the whole children house was converted into a living laboratory. She set up a different type of school furniture. Okay, and it was designed to restrict the movement and enforce the child's need. The desks were bolted, okay, and it could be removed. Okay, it was bolted. Bolted means what? The nail we bolt, na? It could have been removed also. Okay, and so that the child gets the space to move. It was easy to rearrange. The furniture was as such. And she commissioned low open shelves. Shelves were open. The schoolmaster was abolished, transforming the adult from lecturing dictator to observe the guide. The schoolmaster used to say that what is she doing, why is she doing, and all these things. She faced lots of problems. This is not to be done, and all. Many different restrictions were there. We should not do like this, we cannot do like this. All these things were there. But it worked very fruitfully. The children were interacted from each other within the Casa di Bambini, that is the children house. The children used to come, and then slowly and gradually the children started learning there. How come? She have undergone, as it was a living library, so she has undergone different experiments. The first was, see, this is the 5 clinical observations. You must remember this. Absorbent mind, phenomena of deep concentration, extension of rewards and punishments, and the natural desire for order. So this is very, very important. She focused on these things. First, the absorbent mind. She understood that every child absorbs the knowledge from the environment. During the first 6 years, a child does not learn through any consciousness. The child absorbs it from the surrounding. Child is not thinking that I'm learning until the first 6 years. Okay. The child is just listening what is happening in the environment. The child is seeing what is happening in the environment. Seeing the same, the child tries to perform what is happening in the environment. Okay. We do, for a small child, we do not write and give any steps to walk, right? But the child walks on his or her own self. How? The child sees everybody walking all around. Okay. So he tries that, like how others are walking, I also want to stand like this. I also want to walk like this. Like how that my mother is doing, I want to do the same. The child tries to catch on the things from the environment, and that is why it said that till 6 years the child is having an absorbent mind. Whatever is in the environment, the child absorbs that. Absorbent mind. Why is after 6 years is the mind not absorbent? Do I mean to say that? No, it's not that. But after 6 years, the child can think with consciousness. The child is now able to take decisions by thinking whether it's right or wrong, according to the Jean Piaget theory, if you remember. Right? But until 6 years, that whatever the child sees in the environment, the child tries to do the same. And that's why it is said the child must be kept in an environment where whatever the child is doing, it should be safe to the child, and it should be according to the development of the child. Right? This is the thing. Now, the phenomena of deep concentration. What does this mean? See, the small child naturally has a very short attention span. Okay. So Montessori, Dr. Maria Montessori understood this, and she understood that to draw out the attention, the external distractions. See, as the mind is absorbent, the child will get distracted from the environment also. So to make the child involved, the child must be into some activities. The external distractions must not be there when the child is learning. Okay, it says that. So she focused on the concentration, to focus more on the concentration. Now, the next part is very, very important, and this is the very difficult part that we can do it. She focused on motivation should be intrinsic. Okay. To do it something, the children must reject the prizes, candies, gold star, all these things. Children must not accept. The true motivation should be an intrinsic motivation. She focused on providing the innate sense of joy and psychological satisfaction. The external reward was not given in the Montessori method. She focused on the intrinsic motivation process. How intrinsic motivation works? Intrinsic motivation works when we directly give full freedom to the child. Right? If the child is able to do, or if the child is free to do what the child wants to do, automatically the intrinsic motivation will happen. Like when a small child, we leave the child to play on his or her own self, right? Slowly and gradually, the child's intrinsic motivation happens. Motivation internally the child feels. When the child is starting working, the child falls down. Then again, there is an intrinsic motivation. There is no reward, right? When the child is very small, do we give a reward to a small child to say that if you will stand, I'll give you a chocolate? No. Right? If you will not give also, the child will try, the child will again touch the wall, try to stand. Right? So Dr. Maria Montessori focused on this intrinsic motivation by giving free and natural environment to the child. That means there was no restriction. If there is no restriction, whatever you want to do, the materials are kept. Go and get it. You're totally free. You do what you want. Right? So whatever material or equipment the child used to like, the child used to pick up that and then do it. The child was involved in the activity, the concentration improved. The child did not had any restriction. So the child did not need any reward to do any of the activity, right? On the motivation, intrinsic motivation without any rewards. then slowly and gradually the natural desire to do anything happened. So all these three their links are linked and interlinked. So here we can understand that her early experiments at Casa di Bambini in the San Lorenzo, it proved that when an adult provides a scientifically structured, prepared environment, it respects the child's innate development. See, if you are giving, like she has set up the environment in the Casa di Bambini, right? So the why? Because she knows that the child is having an absorbent mind, to develop their concentration, to give them the proper opportunity, to keep them free to do whatever they want. If it is there, then surely the innate desires are going to develop and true interdiscipline will happen, will be there. Okay. So here is a small quick revision about whatever Dr. Maria Montessori has done. Okay. So you can just read and go through this. If you have any doubts, you can connect. Here are some question answers. If you want, you can just go through these questions and then find out the answer. I've already shared the PDF for the same. Right? Now, chapter number 2 says the traditional education versus the Montessori approach. Here, we'll just have an idea about this, that what happens in the traditional teaching education and what happens in the Montessori education. We'll be learning this.
Ma'am,
but
just please speak little bit
that
Hindi also.
When we talk about any traditional teaching, it is where an instruction is given. You can have a general idea about this. And when there is a Montessori method or a Montessori system of education, the instruction is not given. The intrinsic motivation, which is the innate motivation to do something freely, the child knows that I'm not going to be restricted. Nobody is going to stop me. Whatever I want to do, I can do. To prepare this environment, it's very, very important that the facilitator or the teacher or the directress must keep child safe equipments. Then only you will be able to give the child that freedom to do whatever the child wants. So, here we have completed this chapter. Tomorrow we'll be understanding traditional and the Montessori method. I'm stopping the record here. If you have any doubts, you can ask.
Ma'am, hello. Hello.